talk about the eagle. Now the eagle is the most powerful bird that lives on planet Earth, okay? And the eagle, remember, it always flies alone. It's not like the turkeys. You know the turkey, when you find a turkey, the turkey is black in feather and it has a red neck. And always when you find the turkeys, they always are together and they got the head to the ground, they go okay, and that's why during Thanksgiving, they lose their head and you find them on the table for Thanksgiving and everyone's enjoying the turkey. So today, as a leader or a manager, you could choose either to be a turkey, worrying about a whole lot of issues, or you can choose to be an eagle. Now, there's something significant about an eagle. You find that the eagle is found in the flag of the, well, not in the flag, it's the American symbol, and also Zambia, it is a symbol of the Zambia as well. And when we find that the eagle is the most strong, it's the strongest bird on planet Earth. And at the age of 40, we've heard this saying that life begins at 40. Now, who's 40 here? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, you're around about that age, and some of you are about to enter 40. Now, this is not only for people that have entered 40, but even in life in general. Now, at the age of 40, the eagle flies up to the mountains, and it normally has its nest built of rocks. And it sits on this rock, and rock speaks of a firm foundation. It speaks of strength. It speaks of tenacity. It speaks of a value system. It speaks of a foundation on which the eagle is made. And this is what I'm talking about each one of you. What foundation are you sitting on today? Okay. Now, at the age of 40, the eagle's beak, it curls inward. And the talons, they also curl inwardly. And the feathers become very old, hard, and it becomes very heavy that it cannot fly to the high levels in the heavens itself. So at the age of 40, it has to decide whether to live or to die. Why? Because when it grabs onto its food, it cannot have a full meal. Or alternatively, when it tries to capture its prey, it loses its prey because of the talons that are curled in. So at the age of 40, it needs to decide what it needs to do. Whether by instinct, it can either live for another 30 years because it lives, a lifespan is 70 years, or it can just stay in that one spot and die. But by instinct, most eagles, they begin to push until something happens. Now, let's ask Joy. Joy, would you like to come to the front and knock your nose against this wall? Please do that for me. You want to knock it? Yeah, your nose. You want to knock it? You actually want to do it? You want to knock your nose? Okay. If she actually does that, it's going to be very, very painful. But what the eagle does is it goes to the rock, and at the mountain, at the side of the mountain, it begins to knock its beak until it cracks and it breaks and it falls off. But during the process of knocking its beak, it's very, 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 very excruciating, extremely painful. But yet, deep within it, the instinct tells it, you know what, I need to live another day. And it goes on to break it off. When it falls, it waits for a few weeks. The new beak grows up. And it goes again, it flies to this rock. As I said, the rock speaks of foundation, speaks of tenacity, speaks of value system. It sits on that rock. And what it does, imagine I take Marwa and send her off to the terrorist group. And they do a nice manicure and pedicure for her. Ouch! With the pliers. Will you like it? Ouch! Removing all of her, her fingernails and her toenails. She would not, I think even the first thought of it, she will faint. Okay, and she will be unconscious. The same, what does the eagle do? It goes up to the rock and it pulls off all of its talons. Every one of them. Pulls off the old. Okay, and it waits for another few weeks until the new ones grow. What we are saying is, if the old things today has held you back, you need to pull it off. You need to clip it off. And what it does, it waits for the new one to grow. When it grows back all of the talons, it goes back to the rock. And imagine, have you watched ladies fight? I don't know, in Africa they fight like crazy. Like, see, Joy, her hair is set up all nicely. Imagine she and Ola start fighting and pulling each other's hair. You've seen a fight like that? Ladies pull up their shoes and then they start fighting and they pull. You've watched that? Imagine your hair wouldn't be as neat as it is now, right? Imagine the eagle starts to pull off all of its feathers until every one of the old is gone. It's good to have traditional landmarks. It's good to have certain old things. It's not good to get rid of old people in your team as well, because they also have value. But simply what I'm talking about is getting rid of old things or old habits that will hold you back from your destiny. So today what we're looking at is this eagle removes its beak because it cannot eat. It removes its talons because it cannot capture its prey. It removes its feathers because it cannot fly to a very high part of the heavens so that it can see clearly to capture its prey. These are the things that we need to find. What is holding us back to get what we want in this lifetime? And I believe most of us have that issues that come up, all those challenges. So we need to identify it and say, you know what, I want to live another day. Though it may be excruciating, though it may be painful, but you have to keep pressing on. But there's something beautiful that happens. You know what? The eagle never gouges its eyes out. That speaks of vision. The vision that you started off, something that's practical. Don't let it die. Because the eagle never lets its eye, it doesn't gouge out its eye. Because even at the age of 40, its eyesight is as good as it was maybe 10 or 20 years ago from that time. And what happens? At the age when everything is fully grown, when the feathers are grown, the talons are grown, the beak is grown, it takes its maiden flight into the heavens. It flies high up, and from about 8 or 10,000 feet, it is able to see its prey deep in the valley. It comes swooping like a rocket, picks up its prey, goes into the mountain, and enjoys a sumptuous meal. It is able to live for another 30 years. Today, we are looking at it. Life begins at 40, not only for those at the age of 40, but whatever may have happened in the past, whatever has been probably holding you back. Let's look at it. No pain, no gain. Wherever you want to move from, you have to feel the pain. You have to feel sometimes the late hours. Sometimes you have to feel the agony. Why do you have somebody in your team that gives you trouble? Okay, teaches you patience. Why do you have somebody that goes through an issue? So that you know how to deal with it, so that in the event, in the future, you come up with it, you know how to handle it, and so on. So today, no pain, no gain. Like the eagle, let's soar like an eagle. An eagle flies alone. An eagle is one of the powerful birds in the earth. Okay, but yet it knows where it is going to, and it knows how to deal with situations. So today, you want to fly, you find that it always flies up, and when it begins to see when the vision of the eagle, and when you look at where it is, it looks at the mountain and the valley, it all seems like it's one plane. But when it looks from there, it can look at things from an overall view. So even when you are flying high up, after you've gone through the processes of life itself, you can look at your team with one eye. And you have the vision to be able to do the things that you need to do. And the thing is also, the eagle is, another characteristic of it is that when it finds its enemy, especially like a snake, you know, a snake wants to strike immediately and its poison can kill you immediately. But what does the eagle do? It doesn't fight with its enemy on the ground. It takes the snake high up into the heavens where the snake is not familiar with the thin air that's up there. And that already kills the snake. Because sometimes you need to take your competitor to a higher level and see whether they will be able to last the distance with you. And as the higher you go, some people will not go the distance. And especially your competitor will not be able to compete with you because you are one of a higher level from deep within you. So the only way you can be able to achieve this is to understand what is it that's inside of you in terms of the pain and the agony, the patience and the resilience and all of those things that you bear within you. It comes not just overnight, it comes with a price. And everything today, I believe, is a price. I know that people win money. I believe that people get inheritance and so forth. I'm talking about a person that has come from point A to point Z. I always taught my kids that and told them that don't look another person and point a finger. Oh, he's got a lot of money. He's got a beautiful car and a house and so forth. No, don't point a finger. You work from point A to point Z. You will get there. Because sometimes we always look at the other person and think, okay, he must have stolen it. No, not everybody's stealing. There are those that work hard for where they are and what they do. So today what we're saying is no pain, no gain. Thank you, Mr.